So making his second appearance here on the Celebrate Life series is my good friend, keynote speaker, and published author, Mr. Mike Walter. Nice to see you, sir.
Thank you, Marcello. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Now, you're actually going to be on the other side of the DJ booth in the next couple of months. Congratulations. You got a wedding coming up, right?
4 months from now, yes.
And how's the planning going?
Planning is going great, actually. I think it helps to be in the industry because I kind of knew a lot of the things that I wanted. Kelly and I have agreed on just about everything, so planning is going great.
First dance song picked out?
Norah Jones, Come Away With Me.
Where'd that come from?
When we first started dating, which tells you how long we've been together, Norah Jones was just bursting onto the scene, and that was kind of like our song early on. So that was a no-brainer. As soon as we decided we were going to have a big wedding reception and a first dance, it was the only one we could choose.
I love it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about more music from a few years back. Pocket Full of Sunshine is what I think of
Great
when
song. Oh,
I think of your new
there
book.
it is.
How's that
Thank
segue,
you.
right?
That's great.
10 things you can do to have a better day, which is the reason why a lot of the top entertainers are here in New Jersey tonight at the Crowne Plaza. You're going to be keynoting. Tell us about your book.
Mm-hmm.
Where did 10 things come from? What was the inspiration for writing the book?
You know, it was really a list that I put together for myself to remind myself to stay organized, to use better time management, to stay healthier, a lot of carpe diem things. As I mentioned in the dedication, which the book is dedicated to you, Marcello, these are a lot of topics that you and I used to kick around on flights to Las Vegas to DJ conventions or a training run or something like that. So a lot of the content of the book, I'm sure when you read it was, wow, I remember Mike talking about this
right.
and that and that. So a lot of it really was just a personal reminders to myself to how to have a better day. And then I just decided one day to put it down into a seminar and then into a book.
So a lot of people don't know you as well as I do before you ran all the marathons, before you wrote the book and let's say adopted the health and wellness vibe, if you will, what we call the WKIP, we keep it positive kind of vibe. So how has that changed your personal and professional life? I think you've always been successful, you've always been a quote unquote happy person, but was there one of the 10 things that you recommend that really hit home, that spurred the book for you to write it? And how was Mike Walter 2012, 2013 different than 5-6 years ago?
Well, I think the amazing thing in life is that you don't know what you don't know. When I was out of shape, I didn't realize I had really just come to accept. I was 38 years old, and I had just come to accept that a lot of things that were happening in my life were just part of aging. At the end of an event, I was going to have sore knees. I was going to have a bad back.
Right.
I was going to need 8 hours of sleep every night and still be kind of. I had chalked that stuff up to I'm just getting old. What I've come to learn is that you can make such a difference in your life, your energy level, your overall self-consciousness, self-awareness, just by getting yourself in better shape, not even amazingly great shape, just losing some weight and just feeling better about yourself physically.
So I can tell you one of the 10 things that I really relate to, and one is plan a vacation. I do it every winter and as often as I can. Let's go back to the wedding for a second. I believe. Well, first tell me, you have a really unique way of how you and Kelly are choosing your honeymoon, first of all, and tell everybody where you're going, because for brides that are going to be watching this, they may not know of this as a destination for a honeymoon.
Thank you. Yeah, one of the things Kelly and I tried to do was be a little unique with our wedding planning, and what we did was we set up a survey. We chose 3 locations that we really wanted to go to, and we let our wedding guests choose and vote on them. And also give us some comments, the funniest ones will be read at the wedding reception. And then the eventual winner was Iceland, which we are really, I know it sounds like, it's certainly not Aruba or Hawaii, but it's a place we've always wanted to go to. It seems like, just from reading the travel brochures, there's not a lot to do, which, let's face it, on your honeymoon, you shouldn't be out sightseeing the whole time.
Sure.
Looks like a lot of thermal baths.
That might go to another one of the 10 things on the list.
That's one of my on the list,
right.
Exactly
We're
right.
going to keep that one G-rated,
Yes.
though. It's in the book, though.
Right, it's in the book. But yeah, we've chosen Iceland. We have 11 days booked. We're leaving right after the wedding, and we're really looking forward to it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Now, I know you're a big sports fan. And I think to a fault, because you seem to follow all the wrong teams.
Thanks.
How does a boy from Queens, who people don't know you grew up in Queens, become the biggest Dallas Cowboys fan I know?
I asked myself.
Are you a glutton for punishment
often,
or what?
yes. You know what? If you're around my age and you grew up and you kind of came of age in the 70s, my dad was a Giants fan. And if you know anything about the NFL, the Giants were horrible throughout the entire decade of the 70s. And I used to watch my dad just suffer every year. And I said, I don't want that to be my history. And so most guys my age, if they don't root for their local team, they root for one of those teams that were good in the 70s. You have a lot of Steeler fans, you have a lot of Vikings fans, a lot of Raiders fans, and also a lot of Cowboys fans. So I chalk it up to that, but I think a little bit of it had to do with the cheerleaders. I think when I was 12,
Okay.
13 years old.
You could have spared us the last 2 minutes of the response and said, it's the cheerleaders.
It was the cheerleaders.
Okay, all right. So speaking of your dad, I'm a big fan, and I can't wait to see him and your mom, sister, everybody at the wedding. Forget your book for a second. Tell me about your dad's book that's going to be coming out. I love the concept. Tell me more about it.
My dad has written a book about every ticker tape parade in Lower Manhattan, which I had no idea. These go back about 100 years, and there's been hundreds of them. And so he did research about who was being honored at each ticker tape parade, put a little history together, and from what I've read, it's going to be a fascinating book.
And I love the title.
Everybody loves a parade.
Gotta love it.
That was my contribution, actually.
Was that yours?
Yes. Yeah,
okay, terrific. What inspired you and Kelly to be such dog lovers?
It really just came from meeting our first one. Kelly really was the one that said, let's adopt a dog. And I said, sure, no problem. And the moment I saw that little puppy, and he was so adorable, I fell in love. And you've run with Hsieh a couple times.
Sure.
He's a great guy, isn't he? He's hard not to love.
What? Give me some advice for somebody who hasn't run a marathon yet, real quick. If they haven't run a marathon, what's the first step they should take to make that commitment?
The amazing thing about training for a marathon is it teaches you patience, because there's no way to get in shape. If you're not a long distance runner, if you're just a casual weekend 2 or 3 miles here type of runner, you can't cram for a marathon. You can't say, I'm going to do everything I can and be ready in 2 weeks. It's impossible to do it. Mm-hmm. So you have to just slowly and marginally add miles to each run, add miles to your longest run and your total weekly miles. And you have to be patient. It literally will take you 3 to 4 months to get into shape.
Got it. So Michael, you've got running your multi-op, and tonight obviously we're promoting the 10 things you can do to have a better day. What's next in the Building a Better You series?
I've actually had a couple of topics that I've thought about writing about, but what's happened in New Jersey over the last 3 weeks, as you know, Hurricane Sandy hit.
Sure.
And just in following the news and watching the amazing charity that people have done in this state for their neighbor, I've narrowed it on my next topic, and it's going to be 10 things you can do to help somebody else out or to be charitable. Because I just think at the end of the day, it's a great way to help your neighbor, but it's also a great way to feel good for yourself.
Sure.
You go help somebody clean out their house that got flooded or do that, and you've helped somebody, but you also feel good about yourself. So that's going to be the next topic.
You're a good man, Charlie Brown.
Thanks,
Michael.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck to you,
Appreciate
man.
it.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.